like we got some wind. Looks like we got some wind, and it's still kind of windy out. I'll be honest, I was here last night. I took a half day because we had all the foundation out of here. We were up real nice here. The next thing I was going to do was take all this matched lumber off in these shapes and colors. I want to put this wall back together this same way. Part of the real sweet process that I like to offer is that I can cover up all my work again, especially if the building comes with you know, some existing wall covering from the time period it was built, and you wouldn't really know I was in there. So I was going to take this all off and lay it piece by piece in the driveway and number the back side of it before I bundle it up and put it upstairs, which is what we did on this side. But it was raining, so I called a half day. And a few hours into the rain, I guess we got some wind at this spot. Here's some more still blowing. You can hear the leaves rustling last night. So I ran over. This had fallen over. The saving grace was the come along and that screw eye there. Otherwise I think we would have had more of a pancake situation, or we would have crushed over onto that neighbor building. But unfortunately it pivoted around this point, which took the back corner that direction, and you can see it's tipped out to this extent here. And funny, kind of, the fence was attached to the trim that was on the building, and the trim stayed on the fence, pulled off there. This is where we used to be, so we've taken this building and just kind of headed forward and over that way. We did come over and stop just here, just touched that, and this is, like I said, where we used to be. Here there was a pretty even alley throughout, and if we go back up front, you can see that again, swinging about this point, the front corner jumped out, you know, from here to there, so it's sitting out here. And really it's pretty stable now, certainly because of the, when you build things vertical, they're perfectly stacked. As soon as they tip a little bit, now you get forces that are trying to tip it over, or, you know, pulling down is actually pulling it over. Now we can't pull it over much more because of this chain, and it is down on this wall just as the wall stood on the foundation before. It's on the packed earth now, and ostensibly it's safe again, and it's landed, it's touching there. It could rack over, it doesn't want to fall down anymore, so we're stopping it from racking with that chain. And when I was here last night, I brought another one of my shores, so there's a total of 4 in here. All 3 that were in here were like this one here, tipped over just till they stopped. So one at a time in the middle here, I took weight off of it, created a new footing underneath its new overhead location that would allow it to be plumb, packed it in tight, 1, 2, 3, and the 4th remains to be adjusted, but now we're underneath this side as well. And so the plan is now, and I'll show you this on the sketch I did last night, we're gonna go to that tree. There's a, I don't know what this is. It should be okay. It's fairly sturdy at the base. It's you know, a foot in diameter or something. Right here, it is kind of an ugly boy. He's all over the place. We wouldn't come up this far, but we're gonna go to there, and we're gonna install a forged eye into the corner framing of the building here, and we're going to install a forged eye into the top of my treated post, just like the other one was, right through it there. And we're going to go to this tree, and then once those are tight, we're going to get this last shore vertical, and we're going to use all 4 shores to pick this off the ground. And then we're going to throw a waxed up, here's that wax, shows you, wax up 1 24-foot LVL and put him through here as a track, like a surface. I'll make sure he's relatively flat and supported underneath. And then I'm going to attach the other one to the outside of the building out here, all the way along, down below by a couple of inches, the bottommost point of any of this existing structure. And I'm going to pierce through it on every stud in the wall all the way down with some of those nice long timber lockers, which is the same thing we did up here when we attached this pair of 2x10s on here to lift onto the building. So we'll go all the way along there, and then we'll have a long skid with a waxy edge on it, on a waxy surface on the ground, and we can let this back down. And then I'm actually going to come in here, support the temporary beam, take the shores out, take the temporary beam down carefully, and make sure I can sit all the building's weight on this wall, and it doesn't want to fall that way because we're still chained 1, 2, 3. And then we'll just start taking those chains in, take this one over, take that one back, probably go back as much as I can first, slide them all along that. And then we need to get the shores back in here, go up and get a couple rails through here like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe some 6, 8 foot pieces of 6x6 in this direction that skid can then be on, and I'll take the flat surface LVL out of here, and then I'll pull that direction and try to get that edge to slide on those treated posts and slide it back where the footprint is in the right location, and I'll check that all with these posts that I installed. I'm so fortunate that I wasn't quite ready to nail every single siding board all the way up, but I did nail the bottommost siding board to all of these. So I know, again, theoretically, nothing seems that upset here. So I think that this post, relative to the siding, relative to the beam, is all normal, and it hasn't washed to either side and come off of the footing, I'd like to think. So I think that I can still manipulate and drag this system all around until these are all plumb in this aspect and in this aspect with some little bit of touch up, and we'll be back to where I was before, and put the beam all back in here, put the shores all back in here, and pick this all back up so that, oh man, the other day when I was in here too, and this was perfect, I had this picked up and I was measuring all around to the laser, and it was bang on perfect in every space. So I'm going to shoot to get back there again, but I don't know how exactly perfect we'll be able to be. And then I'll go back to undoing the wall, and we'll resume the project. We'll probably fall behind a couple of days here for the sake of moving this around. I'd like to think it's only that many, but maybe it'll be more, maybe it'll be less. Anyway, stay tuned, and we'll come back and look when I get it chained to trees and up on an LVL, and maybe we'll try and get some time lapse of it sliding along, and hopefully it's not a spectacular failure. And we'll see you then. All right, thanks for watching.